Hello, Lily Queen here. Welcome to this tutorial where we're making a buttonhole using a one-step buttonhole foot. Okay, the machine we're using here is a Project Runway Brother machine, limited edition Brother machine. It has inbuilt buttonhole patterns already, so all you need to do is pick which one you want to use and then set it up to make your buttonhole. What you would need for the buttonhole is of course the machine, and then the foot for the buttonhole foot. You need your buttons. Okay, I have different sizes of button here to use to demonstrate what I'm talking about. And then you need your seam ripper. When you're done, you will need the seam ripper to make the hole. Okay, you can also use a scissors, but you just have to be careful not to rip the buttonhole. Okay, so a little bit about this foot. The buttonhole foot has this portion called the button guide plate. Okay, the button guide plate. You put your button there, the button you're going to make the hole for, and then you push to make sure it's secure and snug. Now this process determines how long your buttonhole is going to be, so that it doesn't get smaller or bigger than the button you're sewing. If you're using a smaller button, it's the same process. You just make sure it holds it. If you're using a button that is way bigger than this allotted length, then you will use there's a guide here, call it the presser foot scale. That's what you will use in measuring your button and then position it accordingly. But let's work with what we have here, where we put the button on the button guide plate. We have the pin here that holds or connects the shank to the foot. Okay, the original sewing presser foot is here. So all I do is push it forward. There's a button in the back. I push it and it releases this particular foot. So I can replace it with my presser foot for the buttonhole. Okay, now this thread is hanging out here. We don't need it to be up, we need it to be down. So I turn the hand wheel and it goes down one revolution and allows it to go to the bottom. So I go there and I pull it out. This is a setup for you, and our button is already in, so we're ready to stitch the hole. Sorry. So we position it there and we press it down. Now this is, I'm using a scrap fabric, but if you're making it on your garment, you're supposed to mark the beginning and the end of your buttonhole position. Okay, so we set it up and we are ready to roll. Okay, what's going on? Oh, I forgot to put this lever here. This lever here needs to come down. It helps to position, as you sew, it moves so that it determines the length of your buttonhole. So once we get it in there, we're ready to roll. So it's a one-step buttonhole maker. take out the button so you can see the size is proportional to the button I just made. Okay, I mean the buttonhole I just made. This button is pretty much the size required here. Now if I want to use a different button, let's say this is a smaller button, I do the same thing, position it there. Now the lever over here moves as you sew and stops exactly where it needs to stop for you to make the exact size of buttonhole for this particular button. Okay, now again we turn the hand wheel 1 revolution up and it brings up the top. It brings the top thread to the bottom. Okay, now my lever is down. I'm going to sew right underneath the first one. I'm going to sew another button based on, buttonhole based on the new size of button I put in there. Okay, so as you can see, this is the second buttonhole, and it's proportional to the size of the smaller button that I just put in. In other words, whatever size of button you use determines how long a buttonhole it makes for you. And now we're ready to create the hole that we need. So we go in. This is a very sharp button, seam ripper. This is the seam ripper. So you're careful not to go beyond the stop in there. And we do the same thing for the smaller one. Shoot, I'm not trying to cut. Okay, good. So we grab this, and you can see it goes in. It goes in perfectly. Okay. Similarly, the big one will also go in perfectly. Okay, so this is how you do a buttonhole. Keep practicing it, and it gets better with time. Now, this particular buttonhole foot is similar to most Singer machines and is the same process. Thank you for watching.